Tabanini here with jazz guitar under 5 minutes. Figured I'd leave you hanging on that 5 chord, right, to create some tension. I don't need to do that. Anyways, I'm here today to talk about how to craft lines, right? Lines crafters, you've heard of lens crafters, this is lines crafters. You know, there's a couple things, 3 things that you can really do as a guitar player to play strong lines, aka swing, aka play in time, play form, right? Because that's pretty much what playing strong lines is. There's no such thing of being able to play like really strong lines without them being in time and have them working or swinging. In all types of jazz, right? That's like the one common ground. All right, so check it out. What are 3 things that you can do? Number 1, all right, the first thing that you're going to be able to do is to be able to steer a ship. I think maybe the one and only thing that you could be required to get into music school would be to like, hey, can you sit down and play a blues, stop time style, let the band know where you are, and then play with the band, right? There's so many things we have now with Drum Genius, the Gig Simulator, Band in the Box, Jamie Aebersold. There's so many different things that you can do to not play by yourself and have to be responsible for time, right? You know, especially with the blues, you know, it's cold out here in Bucks County. We were out earlier, Hershey and I were in the snow, right? He's tired. What better way to spend a cold day than to be inside and work on getting your lines stronger, all right? Now, the first thing is just being able to steer the ship. You heard me play while I started this little common tone thing I like to do to build some momentum, right? You know, all too often when I was younger and I would try to play by myself, I would go from like 0 to like trying to swing. And I really had a hard time I can't get started, right? Like the song. It was really tough. So you build some momentum, start on whatever kind of turnaround you want, right? I already kind of have like where my pulse is going to be. And again, when you're playing a solo and you're trying to play strong lines, you're telling a story. You tell a story from the beginning. Couple hits, right? Go back to that. You know, you get the idea, right? You guys heard it. If you made it this far, you heard what I played. So there's that. Playing that real simple idea, right? Being able to steer the ship. Not being scared to play repeated ideas. That's also number 2, right? Just being able to play 1 or 2 repeated ideas made it possible for me to sort of play a little bit more notes and the listener to be like, oh, okay, I wonder where LT's going with this one. Started out real simple, right? Actually, again, started out with a turnaround. And again, when I'm thinking about a turnaround, I almost played just sort of recycled the line. right? Something along those lines, right? And what you heard was a couple of repeated ideas, right, that we talked about, especially after just kind of playing ahead. And you heard those repeated ideas, which led to longer lines. And the third thing to do is to not be a modaler, right? You don't want to be up in the jazz guitar hills, hollering that you can play straight ahead jazz playing modes. You can, and it is correct by all accounts, but why would you want to do that, right? Another thing I think about with my videos and some of the other videos that I see with like all the fret numbers and all the like chords going by, I think it's really cool. I sort of want to learn how to do that. But, if you're looking at a video and that's how you're getting a lot of your information, that's great. You're not going to have a John Nash Beautiful Mind moment where like all the notes are going around in your head while you're playing. That's why you have to start out playing these really simple ideas, right? Sometimes I see these things for all these like crazy symmetrical, dominant bebop, lines, and they're super cool and they look great, but really, really difficult to sort of implement if you can't play a blues, if you can't steer the ship, if you're not playing phrases that like start out going anywhere to begin with. And again, if you're playing modally, right, you're always, especially in the C minor blues, you're always going to end up, really thinking about that A note. After I get to this next chord, right, that if I'm hanging out on that A note over this T minor 7 to especially this G dominant idea, right, like nothing you're going to do is going to sound good. It's you're on the struggle bus to Bebop City at that point, right? You really want to take advantage of the A flat there. And absolutely you can end over C minor. If I move that a little bit, into the next chord, it wouldn't work, Same thing going to that F, right? What am I going to do if I'm not going to take advantage of this C dominant 7, go into this F? I'm going to wait for this F. You can't play strong lines if you're waiting for the changes to happen. You sort of have to, attack them with sort of targeting those other dominant chords where you can build some tension. The idea of just playing that little pickup, again, that's something that I think I played. I wanted to play something simple that I knew I could sort of repeat and get out a couple times and talk about. And again, there was no modalers used there, right? I really think that people that talk about playing modes, playing straight aheads, are the like flat earther equivalent of the jazz guitar world. And again, like you can somewhat correctly do that, but again, why would you? So again, let's talk about these three things that that are really going to help you play stronger lines. Number one is being able to play a little bit of call and response up front on your own, right? If you can't play anything by yourself, there's no way you're going to be able to get out a strong eighth note line, right? Up. Play that. And again, this kind of falls under repetition, right? Repetition with the song, and then step 2, repetition with your idea. And then, the next thing again is like you can't really think modally because you're missing out on all the dominant chords that you're going to need to get you, to sort of be able to play all those creative lines. And again, you could play like maybe a modal idea, like in the melody, something like really simple, like a, I don't know if I would call Mr. PC modal, but like you could repeat that idea and say that like it's like a C minor type of idea. I necessarily wouldn't think of it as a C Dorian. Again, all right notes, but you're missing out on the dominant chords that are going to help you swing and be able to play those strong lines. So, all right, jazz guitar friends, if you made it this far, thanks for hanging out. Right? A few little things that I just like to do, even though it's not, I wasn't talking about the blues. A couple of those dominant chords that you're going to end up using, right, to just create some tension. The first one is just, again, not to wait for that, 4 to come around. I'm playing this C minor, and then in that second bar, I played a 2-5 of the C. The second time around, I played a D flat. Right? Pretty cool idea, right? Because it makes you approach that C note by a C sharp. Right? Pretty cool idea. Again, you can't really think of that modally, right? It's really not going to fall into a mode. Same thing with this next dominant chord that you would miss out on. Got 5 of the 4. Right? And then there's like a bunch of different stuff you could really do here. I'm really not going to do all of it though, right? But maybe I will. I did a lot of it. I walked all the way down. I love to walk down from from the 4 all the way down chromatically, and then from the 1 all the way down chromatically. Same thing when you get to here, right? This is another one that's really important on how to weight properly. One thing that you're going to end up doing, don't want to think about this as like a altered dominant chord, right? This one always used to give me the most trouble, because if I could just pretty much play whatever on this 5, well, why couldn't I really play all that crazy stuff on this 5? Well, I mean, this 5 functions to get you to that 5, which is ultimately going to bring you right here, right? It can only be one, right? There can be only one. It's a jazz guitar Highlander out there situation. So, sometimes I would just, add that E flat there and make it chromatic 2-5. That's another way to sort of like make that a little bit easier. And then like whatever turnaround you wanted to use, right? Or how about, again, right? We're never going to be that guitar player on a C minor blues that plays their dominant chord as a, no, you don't want to ever be that guy, right? This is a minor blues, so all those dominant chords are going to be really, really altered, except for this guy. But definitely on the 5. You don't want to be that guy playing this. Oh, goodness. All right. So, all right, jazz guitar friends, thanks for hanging out. It's about time to take Hershey out for a walk, maybe grab some lunch, play some more guitar, right? Because what else is there? If you made it this far, please hit that like, share, and subscribe. Thanks again for all the amazing support and tuning into my channel. Bebop!